Hi friends, I see 6 of you watching right now. We're going to get started here in about a minute, so hang tight. We're going to be getting really nerdy here about how to forecast severe weather. Okay, friends, it's almost 11. Let's get this party started. How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? So I'm trying to mix it up a little bit here and just give you guys some different content rather than just the forecast. And people, there's so many amateur meteorologists out there, like weather nerds, that just love getting into the nitty-gritty. So I'm gonna kind of go through my forecasting process using the storms that are moving in today. Okay, this is my cheat sheet. Can you guys see this? You can't. It's definitely keying out. Okay, when I bring it back here, you can. I mean, you can barely see it, but you can see it. This is all severe indices, okay, and what it means. Same with the back. This is a cheat sheet I made for severe weather. I reference this, I don't know. I mean, in severe season, like every time storms come through. Talking about helicity, talking about shear, talking about the significant tornado parameter, the energy helicity index, the totals, the K index. You're probably like, what the heck does any of that mean? You gonna find out, okay? All right, let's get into it. 2 separate low pressure systems. One's a strong cold front going to move through tonight. It is going to bring us storms this evening. And then that low behind it is going to bring additional showers tomorrow. So, end of the week doesn't look great. It's beautiful outside right now. You would have no idea storms are on their way. So it's going to be dry until around 6 to 9 p.m. tonight. By 9 p.m., storms will be dropping into Metro. First, I just want to take you through the Futurecast model so that you can kind of see the timing of this. I'm starting the clock right now. Few showers in the mountains, but really the storms. Oh my God, I did not put pause points in there, did I? Well, you know what then? Here's what we're going to do. I'll just take you through Okay, this, by the way, y'all, where's my face? This is my favorite website ever. It's called COD Meteorology. It is one of, if not the main model tool, forecasting tool I use. So when you go to their homepage up here, the RAP, the NAM, these are all the models, Euro, GFS, okay? You can select the model runs. Her model runs every single hour. You select your sector view, so we're in the southeast. And so this is the main tool I use for forecasting, all right? So let's just take you through this. Okay, so here's your timestamp over here. See Saturday, okay, but UTC time is different. So 12Z, which is what you see up there, that is 8 a.m. You have to subtract 4 hours, so it gets a little iffy. So when you're a meteorologist, you also have to learn a completely different time code. So these storms will drop in a few showers around 3 p.m., and then here comes the main storms. So they arrive in North Georgia around 6 or 7, dropping into Metro 9. This is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay? Now, I wish I could get closer on this, but I cannot. Okay, so There are a bunch of different things that we look for when we're forecasting severe weather, but there's big differences in whether something's going to have a tornado threat or just a damaging straight line wind threat. When we're looking for tornadoes, we're generally looking for isolated cells, not a main line. We're looking for a lot of turning of the winds in the atmosphere. Not seeing that today, okay? These storms look, although they do look like there's discrete cells, let me cut back, see these discrete cells? It does not look like these storms have a high tornado threat. Here's one of the main things I use for predicting severe weather. It's called the convective products, okay? Here's all your CAPE. The most unstable CAPE is the one that I usually use, the MU CAPE. This is a very good indicator of the energy within storms, which will give you a good idea of the lightning potential and if they're going to maintain their strength, okay? So as you can see, as we hit 6, 7, when you get those blues, that's energy, that's CAPE that's above 1,500. That's a lot of CAPE. So you can see northwest Georgia, there's a lot of instability in the atmosphere in northwest Georgia around 9 p.m. tonight. And then as we get into the overnight hours, that CAPE sticks with us, but it really dies down, okay? And it actually shoots back up tomorrow and we'll see additional showers. So that's one of the main tools I use, okay? Now the supercell composite. Supercells are strong storms that maintain their strength. When you look at the supercell composite, you're basically getting an idea, is there a chance that these storms are above the severe level, okay? Cutting back. Here's the supercell potential. So you can see that supercell potential really blossoms. This is, let's see, this is 7 p.m., 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm sorry, guys. That's 4 p.m., 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When you get those yellows and those oranges, that's a pretty high supercell potential. So that tells me that around 8 p.m. tonight, you could see really from Atlanta up to the north, there's a high potential for supercells or severe storms. And then after about 10, you can see it really starts to die down. So the biggest threat looks like it's for North Georgia before about 10 p.m., okay? And then tomorrow, the main threat tomorrow you could see is down to our south, even though we'll see showers. There's a much lower, if not really, this is a Friday afternoon, even though we're going to see showers, look at where that supercell potential is. It's way down to our south, which tells me that tomorrow we're not going to see storms. Okay, so that's another one I use. You can use the lightning density. This tells you about the lightning. Certainly this is at 10 p.m. tonight. The green means like over 10 strikes per minute, okay? So certainly some storms going to have a lot of electricity embedded within them tonight. And then tomorrow, maybe even an additional little bit of lightning tomorrow. The significant tornado parameter, another great tool. It combines the winds at the surface with the winds at about 6,000 or 7,000 feet and kind of figures out if there's turning in the atmosphere and if there's it has to be a certain amount, like a 90-degree turning. It can't be a 180 turning. It has to be a specific amount, but it's looking for that, and that gives us an idea of, are we going to see spin-up tornadoes? The reason that the tornado threat is low today is because look at how low this significant tornado parameter is. See that green value? That's at 1. When you start to get into the 3s, the 4s, certainly up here, that's a really high tornado, like the perfect amount of turning in the atmosphere. But we're in the green. So the tornado threat is not 0, but it's certainly not high at all today. That's why we went with a low threat of tornadoes, okay? So these products are all things that I use in addition to SKUTs and all of these other numbers that we can get to predict severe weather. That being said, here's my prediction for tonight. High winds, definitely a moderate risk of high winds. I might even increase that to a high risk of high winds today just based on the supercell potential being higher than it was this morning. A moderate risk for hail as well, guys. When we look at the precipitable water. Let me take you back. Okay, so are PWatts on here? Precipitable water. Nope. All right, we'll go to GFS. GFS. All right. Where's the precipitable water? I'm very confused. Am I blind or am I just not seeing where the PWATs are? I looked at this yesterday, so I know it's on here. Here we go. All right. This is a tool that is very useful for predicting hail. Basically the way hail forms, okay? Let me make myself big. Okay. When an updraft goes into a storm, the raindrops can get sucked up into the top portion of a cloud. And at the top portion of the cloud, temperatures are below freezing. So the water droplets will freeze. Then they will gain weight and they will fall back down. If the updraft or the winds coming into the storm is strong enough, that hailstone will get lifted again. It will have more water form on it that will freeze. In this process, the hail goes up and down and back up and down and continues to get bigger until it's too heavy for the updraft of the storm. It then falls out of the storm. That's why when you have these really strong storms in the Midwest, you can get hailstones that are so big. However, you need the right amount of water in the cloud. And the reason that we see such larger hail in the Midwest is because these storms are there's less water loading in these storms. When you get down into the southeast, which is why we have a lot of rain-wrapped tornadoes, there's just a lot more moisture coming in from the Gulf. So a lot of times there's too much moisture in the clouds, and that will basically load the cloud up and prevent large hail from forming. So we look at the precipitable water very often. You kind of want it in a range between 1 inch and 1.5 inches. And that's basically what that's saying is if you took the cloud, condensed it, and brought it down to the surface, how much water would be at the surface, right? If it's over 1.5 inches, there's just too much water in the clouds for us to get large hail. So when I'm looking for hail, I'm looking at PWATs. I want a PWATs sometimes between 1 inch and 1.25 inches. So let me take you back to the PWATs. All right. So this is this morning. Now we're at 10 a.m., 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., 6 p.m. This is 8 p.m., okay? So this is, and let me actually, you know what I can do here? I'm going to click Atlanta. Will this let me do this? It will not. All right, well then we can just look at this. So this is 8 p.m. tonight. See all the green, those dark greens? They're kind of mid-range greens. Now I'm going to go down here and show you. That is precipitable water under 1 inch. Once you start getting into the greens and blues and you have over 1 inch, that means that the atmosphere is too water loaded for large hail. So we're right in this perfect range where there's just enough moisture that we could get some large hail, okay? Pretty incredible, right? Look at that dry air moving in. Ooh, Sunday's gonna be nice. So these are just some of the tools that I use when I am forecasting severe weather. And I do think we could see some inch hail. The discussion was talking about golf ball size hail. We don't ever see golf ball size hail. It's very rare. But we could certainly get some inch hail. So the damaging wind risk. See how the Storm Prediction Center has the northwest quadrant under the highest risk? That's due to the supercell component. Let's go back. Let's go back to the supercell. And I'm going to toggle in between convective products, supercell composite. Okay, see the supercell composite? See that? That tells you exactly where the damaging wind risk is going to be, 15%. Also, the hail risk, same thing. Okay, looks like it's much greater in West and North Georgia. And then the tornado risk, near 0, like we just talked about, okay? So the COD meteorology website is like a really cool tool if you are an amateur meteorologist or you're just trying to get into it or you just kind of like forecasting on your own. And those are some of the tools that I use to forecast severe weather. Pretty cool, right? All right, guys, we'll see some spotty showers tomorrow as well, and then a beautiful but cool weekend ahead. I hope y'all enjoyed that. A Fizzle Production. So how long have you been in the meteorology world? I feel like you've been here for a couple years now. Yeah, I've been at CBS 46 previously, now Atlanta News First, for over 9 years. I was a ripe age of 24 when I got here. 24 years old, little baby. And before that, I worked in Knoxville for 2 years. So I've been in the industry for over 11 years now. And I love it. I still love this job. I still learn something new every day. I just love the science. It's never the same. No storm is ever the same. And that's what I love. I also love that we just can't control the weather. It's like the only thing as humans that we can't control, and that also impacts everyone. Job security, right? Okay, guys. Storms tonight. If you have any more questions about your amateur meteorology products, I think we're going to do one on SQTs soon. That's another whole nother section to talk about. It's a beautiful day. I'm going to go get outside. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.